Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I think my husband's moved my camera and everything. Hold on a sec. Sorry for my hand in the road. I had, it's still not right. You're just going to lose the top of my head, but that's okay. You're not going to see my head for too much longer. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Michele Jutrisa, and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up. I've had computer problems in the fact that yesterday our power was turned off even just for a second, and it just took us a long time to get my computer up and running again this morning, or the screen. So I didn't think I was going to be able to do a live. So it's great to be on here. So I hope some people jump on, and if you do, please say hello, let us know where you're from, and have a chat with us while we craft. So last week we were playing with the Painterly Pears, and we're going to be doing some more with that. Hello, Deborah. I'm so glad you're here. So we're going to be looking at the Painterly Pears again, and we're going to be doing some more with our Z-fold cards. So hello, Nicole. Thank you. Oh, it's great. I thought I was going to be talking to myself today after putting up on my Facebook page that I may not be going live. So it's great to have Deborah and Nicole on here. So I'm going to point my camera down to my desk view so we can get started. And last week, if I find my card from last week, I created this card using the Painterly Pears, and we made just a basic Z-fold card. So this week what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at a different style of Z-fold card, and this is called a double Z-fold card, and I've got a couple of examples here. These are just my little templates. So you've got this one here, which is also a landscape view, and as you can see, it's got a bar across the front here. Now when I stand that up, you can see there are two Z's, and I'm going to show you how to cut this, because my card we're going to make will have at least one of these, may not be the same width, but that is a basic Z-fold card. Now this band across here, you can decorate that. It's really great if you've got a paper and stamp set, say flowers or something, and you can have flowers coming up from here from the bottom up. I have done one of these in window sheet once before because I wanted the balloons and everything, and I didn't want to hide what was on the back of that. So there's a lot you can do with that particular Z-fold. Now, if we're going to look at it from a portrait style, then you're going to have a much narrower band here. But what I've done is I've balanced that out by having a wider Z-fold on there, the second one. So as you can see, now I just want to point out that when you stand that up, this is folding into a square, and it means that when you go to work on this or to decorate it, you can fold that down flat. Now you'll see the reason why I'm pointing this out in a moment. Now with this width here, you can have it a lot narrower. You don't have to have it the width I've done there. I've really just taken it to that width. You could have it going all the way up to the top if you want to. It's just giving you a very interesting fold. Now there you've got a couple of different areas you can write on with these cards. This one here, you could write in this little section up the top here. Let me just put my hand through there, just up there, because when that folds, you're going to be seeing that. So you could decorate that, or you can put a piece on the back and decorate on the back there. With this one here, the only places you've really got to write are here or here, and then on the back. But there you're basically your double Z-fold card. And the way that you create this band piece is actually exactly the same measurements you use to create the base of your card. You're just flipping it around. So as you can see with your base that I've done here in black, I've got that folded, my card's folded in half and then folded in half again like we did last week. This one here is exactly the same and exactly the same measurements, and that's why you get that square which you can fold flat. Now the card we're going to be doing today, so I'm bringing my template for it because I've been playing around with it for the last little while, and as you can see, I've got a triple Z fold. So I've taken my double Z fold, and I've taken this idea and this idea with the strip and combined the two. But in doing that, I can't create that square. Now, I think that's the reason why when you make one of these, you can't fold this completely flat, okay, because you don't have that square or that flat ability. That's not joined really. I haven't glued it down, so that's why that just popped out. So just bear with me, because I'm basically, yeah, so if you're trying to get this to lay flat, you're not really going to be able to do it. On this type of card here, the only place you would have left to right, and let me just pop that back there properly, is if you put a panel on the back and right on the back. So this is the card we're going to make now, and I'm going to show you how I'm creating this. So I'm hoping I'm not going to get confused. If you have any questions, please ask. It is going to be something a bit fun. It is a card a triple Z fold I haven't done before. So the measurements are a little bit different because, as I said before, with these ones here, you have exactly the same measurements in length for both this fold and this one. So that those lengths are exactly the same. The score lines are in exactly the same place, except you flip it around, and I'll show you that in a little while. Whereas this one here, the only measurement that stays exactly the same throughout the whole card is the depth from the back of the card to the front of the card. So it's this measurement here. It is exactly the same in each one, and you want to have that so then it progresses out that little bit more. Okay, I think if I keep chatting too much, I will confuse myself and maybe you as well. So let's get started in creating this card. So I'm actually going to start with an A4 piece of cardstock, because this card you can get as such there, you can get out of one sheet of cardstock. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my scoring first, just to make it a little bit easier. And then I'm going to trim down. So I'm going to score this at, or cut this, I'm not going to cut this down. I'm going to start my scoring at 7.5. Make sure my cutting blade is right out of the road there. I'm going to score this at 7.5, and then I'm going to score it at 14.9. So I've got my A4 and I'm working across the long side. Okay, so there it is there. So I'm working across the long side. So I've gone from this edge to 7.5 to 14.9. Okay, so they're my main score lines. Now I'm keeping my fingers crossed here that I've got this all correct. Okay, now I want to cut this down. So I want to cut it to my card base first. So I'm going to cut this at 10.5, which is going to give me my card base. I'm then going to cut this at 7.5, which is going to give me my middle card base. And then I've got this one piece left at the end, and I want that at 3 centimetres. So I'm just going to make sure it's at 3. It's a little bit bigger, so I am going to just trim it down, even though it's just a very small amount. So I'm only really taking off a couple of millimetres there. Okay, it didn't cut that real tidy for me, so I'm just going to give that a little bit of take a bit of that fuzziness off. But that's all I've got left, is just that tiny, thin little strip, which we're just going to pop in the bin. Okay, so they're the 3 main pieces for my card. So I know that I've got this piece, my card base, my main card base is the correct size. This middle one, I've got 7.5 by 7.5 for that little section, 7.5 by 7.5 for that little section. And I'm going to cut this then at, I want another 7.5. So that's 15, and I want to get to there, and I want another 7.5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 22.5. So I've got that on my 22.5 mark, and I'm going to cut that there. So that's giving me 3 sections at 7.5 centimeters square on each one of them. So that's my middle piece. Now, this piece here, which is going to be our small middle piece here, so our last piece, I want this to be cut. Now, I need to just grab my ruler just to check this. I want a section on one side of that centerpiece at 7 and the other one at 4.5. So there's my 2 score lines, 1, 2. So I want 7.5 from one side of that score line. So I'm going to I'm actually going to pop this score line here. Now, actually, I'm just going to go back a step. Now, we were talking before, because I cut all of these the same, okay? So this is a good time to show you. If I actually fold each of these score lines, so fold that back to my Z fold card, then here's that bottom strip. So this is looking back at this card here. So there's my scores in the same position on both those 2 pieces. To get that, all I'm going to do is take this piece, turn it around, and adhere that down like that. Now, you don't have to have that going right to the edge. You can have that to whatever length you want it, and it's just adhered down with those edges there. And that's how you form that, okay? But we're going to chop this piece down for this card. So what did I say I needed? I need this piece here. I need at 7 centimeters. So I want it from that fold there to there at 7. So I'm going to put that fold or that score line on my 7 centimeters, which is about there. And I'm just going to take off that end. And then I want from this score line 4 centimeters, 4.5 actually. So I'm going to pop that on my 4.5 mark, just about there, and cut that at 4.5. So I will give you all the measurements for this on my blog, but that's the measurements for that. And I'll show you the folds of that in a moment. So let me just get rid of my trimmer. So this piece here, we're going to fold. That's the piece that's going to go on the front of our card. That's the piece that's going to go on the side. So we're going to have a mountain fold and a valley fold. Hello, Sue. How are you? So we're going to have 2 folds like that. So let me just grab my bone folder and score this one. So that's our top piece. We then have our piece which is going to go in the middle. So we're going to fold a concertina, basically this. So we're going to have again a mountain fold and a valley fold. And I've just got just a little bit out in my measurements there, but I don't think it's going to matter that much. I don't think we're going to tell. Just my fold is a little bit different, as long as I've got that 7.5 in the middle. I'm just out a tiny little bit. Hold on one sec. I'm just going to see if I can adjust this score line. So we've got 7.5 on that one. And then to 15. It's only just a tiny little bit, and it's not really going to matter that much, but I'd just rather it be a bit better than... Let's just see if I can move that across just a little bit. Oh, it'll work. It's only like 1 mil out. There we go. The most important thing, I think, really to worry about is that measurement in that center has to be the same. So I'm talking about this measurement here has to be the same on each one. Okay, so that one there is 7.5 by 7.5 by 7.5, and I've scored it again to have a fold like that. So that's going to go, this piece is going to go on here, this piece is going to go on here, and that's what's going to create that lovely triple Z fold. Okay, so before we glue anything together, we're going to start decorating this card. Okay, so let me grab all the bits and pieces I've got here. So I've got some Darling Duckling, and I've chosen these two designer series papers. So there's this one here, which is the reverse of that one, and this one as well. So they're the papers we're going to be using. So we're going to start by decorating our main part of our card base. So let me just give this a really good score. Okay, so let's just start with this, and what I have got here are, now these pieces here are 0.5 centimetre difference. So this section at the top here is 7.5 by 10.5. So in the Darling Duckling, I have cut that down to 7 by 10. And I've got one piece to go there and one to go there. Then I have taken the designer series paper and I have cut that down to 7.7 by 9.7, and we've got the two pieces to go on there, and then we've got the panel to go on here, which in the Darling Duckling is 10 by 14.4, and then the designer series paper is cut down to 9.7 by 14.1. Okay, so let's start gluing all of these together. So I'm going to glue all of these pieces on there first. I've got some new glue here, so hopefully this time we won't run out. And I'm just going to make sure that I keep all these pieces all going in the same direction, just so then I don't get myself all bits and pieces upside down, because there is a direction to this paper. Always check your designer series paper to make sure you've got your directions going all the same way, especially if you're cutting lots of little bits and pieces like this. So we're just going to maneuver that in place. Do the same with this one. So I hope everybody's has had a lovely week. It's been very wet here in the Southern Highlands, but I think it's been like that across most of New South Wales. Whoops, don't need that piece just yet. Now this was a card I saw done by Jan B Cards. So, because I just wanted to take our basic double Z fold card up a notch. So this was a card that I saw that she had done. So there's our pieces there. Now we need to glue that onto here. So this piece is going to go here and these two pieces on there. And as I said, just making sure that we've got everything going in the right direction. No, that one's in the wrong direction. Let's turn that around and pop that there like that. Okay, let's adhere all this down. Good thing I double checked my direction there. And the cardstock base I'm using for the base of my card is Secret C. Don't think I mentioned that earlier. This week's been better than last week. Oh, that's good. I am just loving playing with these papers. I think they're just the most gorgeous colours. And you know what? I'm even loving, if someone had have asked me when all these colours came out, what are my favourite colours, I pretty much will always say Secret Sea and Cloud Cover. But Darling Duckling is like sneaking up on me. I think I couldn't use it in a huge piece, but I think as a, like this, as a mat and that sort of thing, it's gorgeous. Okay, so there we go. So there's our card base all decorated. So now we're going to grab our next piece. And with this one here, I have got, so each one of these squares here is 7.5 by 7.5. So I've got 3 pieces of Darling Duckling at 7 and 3 pieces of Designer Series paper. And this one is the one with the pears. And I've done those at, 7.5. So they 7 by 7, so 6 by 7. Now, with these ones here, I had to work out where I was going to cut. I sort of cut a strip at 7 centimetres and then had to work out where I wanted my pears to go. But they are going to get a little bit covered up because this strip is going to go over the top of them. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to finish up, but we're going to give it a go, and we may not completely see all our pears, but we will get a little bit of them, I hope. So we've got our 3 pieces of Darling Duckling there, and I'm just going to glue these on, and I'm not quite sure what order we're going to put them onto our card. We'll work that out in a minute. Now, I mean, maybe this would be better off if it had been a slightly smaller print or more of a smaller all-over print. But sometimes you just don't know until you actually finished your card on how they're going to look. So we'll just keep going with this. Whoops. Don't want my paper to go there. Slip it into place there with just that couple of mil around the edges. And then our last one. Good things these are all squares because it doesn't matter then which way we have it. We can just turn it around before we glue it onto our card front. So there's those pieces, and let's bring in this one here. And I'm going to pop that one in the center just for the fact that it's not actually going to have anything stuck on top of it. And I just think that's a nice looking pear. I love the colours in that. Very delicious looking. Now, I'm going to pop this one there, just because there's a lot of colour in that. And the fact you've got a lot of flowers, and you've got the pink flowers. And my strip might not cover up much of the pear. Then this one here is going to go onto the last one. So is anyone creating anything special at the moment? Playing with Painterly Pears, or you're playing with another designer series paper? Okay, so that's going to go on top of there like so. So I'm going to glue these down now, but I only want to put glue on around about half of this panel here, my end panel. And I'm going to do this just one panel at a time. And I think I want that around about, if I remember correctly, it was around about 3.5 centimeters. So I want that around about 3.5. So I'm going to use my ruler here. Oh, I made a bit of a boo-boo there, but I'm going to take it about there, about 3. Put the glue, but we'll get that off in a little while, and that's going to go there. Then the easiest way to glue this down is to fold all that back. Now we're going to pop glue pretty much, because we want to glue that completely down. So that last panel is going to have glue all over it. So I'm just straightening it up a little bit. And we're going to pop glue all over this one here. Move all that out of the road, and we're just going to fold that straight down and over the top. Just hold that down for a few seconds. So that's going to go just like that. I might just square that up a little bit more if I can. So I've just got a little bit of glue there, but we'll just remove that in a little while. So that is probably now rather than 3.5. No, it's about 3.2. I was trying to get 3.5 just to bring it a little bit more this way, but that's okay. It still looks good. That looks pretty just like that, doesn't it? Put a sentiment on there and we could say we're done. But we're going to try taking this up, that extra Z fold. So now we've got this one here, and we've got our bits and pieces for this. So let me put the lid on that so we don't dry out. And we're going to do some stamping. So this is our pieces, and these are the order that they're going to go in. So we've got that piece there is 4.5. So this one here is 4 centimeters by 2.5. This one here is the 7.5 centimeters, because it's the same. All these inner panels are all the same. So that one there is 7 by 2.5. And then this one here is also, let me have a look. That's 6.5. Yeah, because this one here was 7, 7.5, and 4.5. So we've got 6.5, 6, 6.5, and 4. And then we have here 5.7. This one here should be 6.7. Let's double check. 6.2, sorry. 6.2, 6.7, and then that one there was 3.7. Oh, this is getting a little bit confusing, especially when I don't have it all written down. So we're going to stamp on at least one of these. Now, at the moment, the stamp that I've got out is from the stamp set. It's A Good Friend is a Gift. And I thought I would stamp that in Secret C. So let me just grab my Secret C here. Does look pretty. I'm hoping it's going to all finish up, all of it looking pretty. But we'll give it a go. Make sure we've turned this around the right way. Line this up. We want it in the middle. That looks good. So that one there, we're going to adhere to that one. Now, we can put a sentiment on here, but I'm not quite sure what one to put on there because what we've got left in this set, and I didn't really want to bring out a different set because then we'd have a different font, is either Friend. A Good Friend is a Gift. Friend doesn't really sound right. Hello, congratulations. I'm wondering if I've got another stamp set here. Oh, if you could see my workroom at the moment, I've just got bits and pieces all over the place, and I don't think it is still there. I think I've moved it. Just thinking, what's on this one? Just seeing what I've got, because this has just got a plain font. A Good Friend is a Gift. And then in this one, this is Inspiring Imperfections. And I haven't used this as yet. Yeah, it doesn't really suit either. The font would work because it's got a very small print there for you, for it. But that's too long. I know you'll get through this and be stronger for it. No, it's just not quite what I'm wanting. What else could we do on there just to make it? We could put just thank you. What do you think? Yeah, Sue, I wasn't a big fan of the fruit, and that's why I held off buying it. But I love the colours and everything. I'm not a fruit paper person. Like a lot of the papers that with fruit on it, I don't really use them. So I don't really buy stamp sets with fruit on them. But I really love the colours in this paper, and the more I watched people creating with it, the more I thought, yeah, maybe I do like that. I'm just going to pop a thank you in there because I think that could work quite well. I'm not going to worry about that last one because we might put something on there. But yeah, I think I've changed my mind a lot on it, but I think it's because I've decided not to look at the fruit so much, even though fruit's on there. And the stamps are fruit, and I have done the stamping with that, and I'll be doing stamping with that today. But it's just, yeah, I'm sort of looking more like thinking of it as a floral rather than as a fruit. Yeah. That's right, Nicole, the richness in the patterns. Yeah, really would be really good for memory books. But I'm actually, because I've decided to do, I've probably got another 2 weeks of doing things on Z folds, showing you different Z folds and that. And I'm going to be using this paper throughout all of them. Yeah, I think it's more or less just growing on me. But anyway, let's keep going with this card. So we're going to pop those onto there, and we're going to pop that onto there because I am going to pop probably a pear onto that. So anyway, You can use this idea for this card for any papers anyway. So, I mean, it's whether you love them or you don't, or whether you're sort of sitting on the fence with them, I don't think it really matters. And, I mean, I'm just trying to show, what you can create, different ways, different Z-fold cards at the moment, fun fold cards that you can create using different things. And there's a reason why I'm using all the same designer series paper, and you'll find that out. Like I've got another 2 weeks I want to do Z-folds, and then on the week after that there is something else we're going to create, which is going to tie all this together. So I hope you'll stick around for all of that right to the end. And of course, if you can't, then there's the videos on YouTube that you can go and watch. But hopefully by the end of this you'll see where my ideas are progressing. And I've just thought of something that I could have done on there, which we may still see if I can do it. Okay, let's just grab out of here this little floral stamp. Because if it doesn't work, I can just that's just finished with those. I just need one of these blocks. And I'm going to grab the petal pink that I've got sitting here. Let's just see if I can do this without. Yep. Just wanted to put, I just stamped just a little bit of an image on there. And then what I'm going to do is grab the Darling Duckling. And there's another little stamp, and I'm just wanting that one, and that goes with this one here. And believe it or not, I've only just realised that actually belongs with this. It's like a little 2-step stamp. So you've got a flower and then you've got these centres. Now, let's have a look, work out where these. Oh, how about that? So I was wondering what these little, I'll get the stamp box and show you. Didn't know what those little things were, and it just dawned on me, hello Vicky, that they're the centres of this flower here. I mean, that one there's splatters, and I thought, oh, well, that's just a different type of splatter, but it's not. It's the little centres for that. So I really like how that's come up. So I'm going to do on here, talk about afterthoughts. Pop another one there. Another one there, and I might pop a little flower there like that. Actually, might do the same with that one over there. Just going to pop that on there like that. Oh, this is turning out better than I thought. Don't you love it when things work out and different to what you planned? So let's do some little centers. That one. Normally I would recommend that you don't actually stamp that when you've put your mat underneath it. Stamp it before you did your matting. But considering this is just a thought process on the go. Nice. Okay, so now we've got those 3 pieces. I may not even need to stamp the pear anymore because I've got that on there. I'm wondering whether this is where we could use well, wait, I'm just thinking whether friend might go onto there, but let's just think about this before we. Problem is we can't put the friend on there after I've glued it to the card. So let's pop this one on here. Whoops. Get it nice and squared. I love it when something comes together. Not quite how I originally planned, but now it's this little one here, whether we're going to put friend or just leave it. Because now I've got those flowers on there, I don't even think I need the pears because it's really just a small little piece. Probably even could have put just the thank you on there. So that's going to go onto there. So you're going to lose a lot of that idea of the pear anyway. So it's just becoming, the pear's just becoming a bit of a, and that's going to go into there like that. I think I'm going to not stamp anything on there. So what I need to do is add some glue onto this, but again, I don't want to take the glue right up to that edge. I'm only going to put glue on just a bit more than half. Working out where I want that to go. That's going to go about there. Now I can't flatten this down because remember that won't flatten down because that's a rectangle, it's not a square. So it's not going to, it's sitting down fairly close. If I hold that up, you can see that's probably about as flat as it's going to ever get. So don't push this down. But I want to put some glue onto there. Whoops, I'm going to end up with glue everywhere by doing it this like this. Whoop, 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 whoop. Let's fold that. Fold that. That will just slide into place a little bit there. So I'm just going to hold that down for a bit. Actually, really, it does become quite thick because we're going out a lot of layers. So it is a thick card. Should still fit in the envelope though. But really, I'm just picking up on the floral of the paper rather than on the pears in the paper. So I'm actually really pleased with that. Now, do we need to add some of these or not? These are the elements that come with it. If we do, I think I'm going to add the Darling Duckling, and there are a couple of different sizes there. So I do want to use, I think, the smaller one. Whoops. Let's try the other side. It's not really wanting to. Okay, so let's pop one down there. Come on, off. And we're going to pop another one. One, two, three. So I don't want to put too many on there. I'm actually really, really happy with the way that has turned out. Now, just remember when you create a card like this, don't have your background too busy. By having it sort of just with a small print on there, this is still becoming my focal point. So you want to have that focal point. You don't want to have the whole card so busy so that you're losing it. And the one here with the sentiment on it, you're just keeping it quite simple with that sentiment as you open it up. You know, a good friend is a gift. Thank you. Now, there's only still one thing we need to add on the back of this because we've got nowhere to write. So let's add a panel here. Now, I've cut this panel down to 9.5 by 14.9, 13.9. So I've taken a centimetre off. So it's going to have a bigger space. And something I've just realised, and it's too late to do it, you probably could have added a couple of flowers to the back of this. I don't think I'm going to be able to. Might give it a go. Right there, that's not even squared up. Let's see if we can pull that down a little bit more. I think I've got too much here. Let's have a little bit of a go. I'm not going to do anything major. I'm just going to add. Yeah, that didn't really work, did it? Let's see if I can line this up, and if not, I'm going to be cutting something to go on there. Yep, I'm going to have to cut something to go on there. I have completely ruined that. But that's okay. What we can do is, I've got some scraps of paper here. Let's see whether there's going to be a way. Don't worry. I have not. Next time, remember and remind me to cut the stamp before putting the card together. So I'm going to cut a 2 centimetre strip because I'm hoping that's going to be enough. Just want to make sure. Hold on a sec. No, it might need the 3 centimetre strip. And I said that was 13.9. See, no mistakes. It's just a decorative. Allowing ourselves an area to decorate a little bit more. And no one's going to know but you and I. Look at that. Beautiful. No one's going to know. Just don't tell anyone. Shh. There we go. So there's the back of our card. Beautifully finished off. Yeah, I could have cut out a fussy cutter pair. I did think of that, but you know what? I'm just making that a little bit easier for myself. And I've got that little bit of glue there. So I've got myself one of these recently because my other one was getting a bit old and had it. Let's see if I can remove that glue spillage. Just got to work very gently at this and just remove that excess glue. And if there's a little bit of stickiness left there, I'll just put my embossing buddy over the top of it. But I think I think I have got that all now, so I'm happy with that. So there we go. There's our finished card, and that's a triple Z fold card. So let's have a look at our examples of just a standard double Z fold. So you have that one, or you could have that one. And what we've done today is taking it up that one extra and making a triple fold. Oh, sorry, Linny. But at least you jumped on. Always catch up on the YouTube. So thank you very much for joining me today, and I hope you've enjoyed watching me create that card. I do appreciate you hanging around and jumping on, considering I didn't think this was even going to go ahead. I think I might need a new screen. We're going to wait and see. But anyway, thank you. Now, as I said before, over the next couple of weeks, I will be doing more different Z folds. They're your basic Z folds, and I'm finding that there are a lot of fun fold cards out there that are all based on a Z fold. So what I'm trying to show you with this is having some fun with the Z fold, and how Z folds you'll find them in a lot of different card styles. So and I think it's just a good basic one to know, and from there you can create all sorts of different things. So I hope you can join me next Friday, and we're going to create another Z fold card, and then, as I said, the following week we'll do another one again. And if you do miss my videos, you can catch up with them on YouTube as well. So have a wonderful day. It's I'm under my hour. That's pretty good. I'm trying to keep things under an hour rather than going over. And I'm now going to get in and do some scrapbooking. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks I can show you a scrapbook page that I've created. I won't be doing that on YouTube, but you will be able to follow that on my Facebook. So have a lovely weekend. Take care, and we'll catch up with you next week. Bye for now.